Hey everybody, this is Wayne from the Wayne and Kate Show, and I have a Monday quick thought for you. 1 Corinthians 10:13 is where we're going to be in just a moment. Before we get there, let me give you just a little bit of backstory. So this last weekend, my wife and I were in Chattanooga at a marriage conference, and we had a great time. Chattanooga is a beautiful city, and there's so much to do. And while we were there, I remembered a time when I was there and was able to go hiking. I love to go hiking. I love to spend time in the woods. And so this one time, I went hiking up on Signal Mountain. And Signal Mountain, there's a park at Signal Mountain that has a hiking trail that goes off from that park. And the hiking trail runs parallel to the Tennessee River Gorge. And so the whole time you're walking with just this beautiful view. Well, there's a point in the hike where you come to a corner, and literally it's where another gorge comes into the Tennessee River Gorge. And so you come to a point that is a sheer drop for hundreds of feet. And it looks, as you're coming up to it, it looks like the trail just goes straight to the edge of the cliff. And so if you walk out, there's beautiful views and everything. But the thing that's so amazing about it is that the trail continues around the corner, but it's so much smaller. You'd actually miss it if you weren't really looking for the trail to kind of turn. You would almost think that the trail comes to an end right at that cliff face. So that got me to thinking about sin. And 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, "No temptation has come upon you except what is common to humanity. But God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with the temptation, He will also provide a way out so that you may be able to bear it." And as I was thinking about that hike, I thought, man, that is a perfect illustration, a perfect analogy for the principle that this passage is teaching, that God always provides us a way out, another trail, if you will, that we can take that will avoid the painful consequences and destruction brought on by our sin. So let's pretend that I'm running down the Signal Mountain Trail, and I'm coming up to that point in the trail where it makes that hard right turn, and I miss the trail that shoots off to the right, and I just keep going towards the cliff. If I'm not careful, I'll go right over the edge, and the destruction will be devastating. And that's what we do a lot of times with temptation. We run so quickly and so hard towards the sin, and we don't look for the way that God is providing us to avoid the sin, that we often miss the side trails that God provides to help us to avoid a sinful decision. And this passage promises us that God is always, in every temptation, God is always going to provide us a way out, an alternate trail, if you will. The problem is we so often are not looking for those trails. We have our eyes focused on going straight towards our sin, and we do not, we don't see the trail. We don't take the little side trail. We don't take the alternate route that God provides for us. So I hope that really speaks to you, and I hope that it might even encourage you that in your moments of temptation, possibly to stop and think and process what is the way out that God is potentially providing for me right now. Like I said, when you're on the trail, you have at Signal Point, you have to be looking for this side trail here. Well, when you're in the midst of temptation, you have to be looking for the way out that God has promised that He's going to provide for you. and you have to be attentive to what God is doing there. And so I want to encourage you as you try to live a life of purity, a life of holiness, that you would take advantage of the opportunities that God gives you to avoid temptation, to avoid making sinful decisions. And that's part of following God, taking those trails. Now, here's the great thing about it is the more you take those outs, if you will, the more you get used to looking for them, and the more they become apparent to you, the easier it is to spot them. So it's one of those practice makes perfect things. So I encourage you to start practicing right now. Well, that's it for my quick thought for today. Katie will be with you tomorrow with a quick thought. And make sure you watch, like, share, subscribe to this to our page. Watch, like, share this video on every social media platform you have. Help us get the message out. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them below. Have a great day, and I will see you just in a couple days.